Welcome to The Explainer. All right, today we're going to dive into a pretty big idea. What if the constant stress and conflict we all feel isn't just coming from the world around us, but from an inner default setting of fear? And, more importantly, what if there's a totally different way to operate, one that's all about freedom and connection?
So let's kick things off with this question. We spend so much time and energy trying to fix all the problems out there in the world. But what if the real root of our conflicts, in our relationships, at work, even the huge global stuff, what if it all starts with a struggle that's happening right here, inside each and every one of us? So to really get a handle on why we react the way we do, we've got to look under the hood. We have to start with the main emotion that's so often driving our decisions, our beliefs, our actions, and that emotion is fear. It's like this engine that's always humming just beneath the surface.
Okay, so what is fear really? I mean, it's way more than just worrying about what might happen tomorrow. At its very core, fear is actually a memory. It's our past, literally reaching into our present moment, a subconscious echo of an old wound or loss that our mind is just desperately trying to keep from ever happening again.
Now this visual here, it lays out a really powerful and kind of scary self-fulfilling prophecy. It all starts with a fear, right? That fear kicks off these repetitive, anxious thoughts that just go round and round in our heads. And if we let them, those thoughts eventually harden into these solid core beliefs about how the world works. From there, those beliefs drive our actions. And this is the crazy part. Our actions often end up creating the exact situation we were so afraid of in the first place. It's a total vicious cycle.
So how does this inner fear engine actually show up in our everyday lives and, in society as a whole? Well, it pretty much expresses itself through two really powerful mechanisms: our deep-seated need for control and our constant use of judgment.
And this leads us to a really crucial point. You know that feeling? That need to control everything? Our lives, our relationships, our environment? Well, it turns out that's often an almost addictive reaction to feeling unsafe. It's a survival strategy that just kicks in automatically whenever that old pain gets triggered.
And these beliefs, they basically become our personal algorithms, the programming we run on. Just take a look at, I am only safe if I am right. Think about that. That one subconscious rule can turn a simple disagreement with your partner into this huge high-stakes battle. Suddenly, you're not just talking about whose turn it is to do the dishes, you're literally fighting to defend your sense of safety. These kinds of rules lock us into a constant state of defense.
So what's the main tool we use to enforce all this control? It's judgment. Judgment lets us point fingers, create blame, and make other people wrong so that we can feel right and safe. But what it really does is shatter the trust you need for any kind of genuine connection. It's a cycle of distrust that starts inside us and just radiates out.
Okay, so this is where we get to the turning point. If you think about fear, control, and judgment as the bricks we use to build these massive walls around ourselves, well, the way out isn't to just build the walls higher. The real way out is to find the courage to be vulnerable.
This quote right here, it completely flips the script on everything we've been taught. I mean, we're all told that vulnerability is a weakness, right? Something you have to hide at all costs. But what if that's totally backward? What if it's actually our greatest strength? A state of fiercely courageous, open awareness that lets us connect and grow.
Yeah, this comparison really shows you the whole paradigm shift. We go from seeing vulnerability as this massive liability to embracing it as the very source of our power. It's all about moving from a closed-off, defensive posture to an open one. And honestly, that open state is the only place where we can truly learn, love, and create anything new.
So, once we make that choice to embrace this courageous vulnerability, it opens the door to a whole new foundation for our lives. It's like installing a new operating system, one that's based not on fear and scarcity, but on this incredible abundance of love and a real desire to be of service to others.
Now, this isn't the kind of transactional love that, let's be honest, most of us are used to. The I'll give you this if you give me that kind of deal. No, this love is completely unconditional. It's the ability to see the deep, inherent worth in every single person, no matter what they've done, no matter what they believe, and to offer love with absolutely no strings attached.
And this brings us to a question that is so simple but just unbelievably profound. This can become your guiding compass in any situation, whether it's a tough conversation, a huge life decision, or even when you're thinking about a global crisis. Just stopping and asking yourself this one question. It completely shifts your perspective. It moves you out of fear and reaction and into a space of love and creativity.
And this CB-DO framework is how you make it practical. Because love isn't just some vague feeling, right? It's a way of seeing the world, it's a way of being in the world, and it's a catalyst for action. It all starts with how we choose to see things, which then shapes who we choose to be. And that in turn dictates what we actually do.
And this right here is where the personal stuff becomes planetary. That individual transformation, that simple moment-by-moment choice to move from fear to love, that's the fundamental building block of a better world. Seriously, this is how real change scales up.
You see, when we make this shift inside ourselves, we literally start to rewrite our collective story. We start trading in isolation for a feeling of deep interconnection. We swap out competition for genuine collaboration. We let go of that desperate need to be certain about everything, and instead, we embrace curiosity. And maybe most importantly, we stop waiting for someone else's permission, and we reclaim our own personal power to help create the future.
At the end of the day, this inside-out transformation is all about healing our collective fragmentation. It's about building what some people call cohesive coherence, which sounds complicated, but it's really just a fancy way of saying we're all pulling in the same direction. We're working together from a place of deep trust. And we absolutely need that kind of alignment if we're going to have any hope of navigating the huge challenges ahead of us.
So the real takeaway here is this. Our personal inner work has massive planetary implications. I mean it. Every single time one of us makes the choice to respond from a place of love instead of fear, we're casting a vote for an evolution towards coherence, towards a better way of being together.
And that leaves us with one final and really powerful question. You see, the future isn't something that just happens to us. It's something that we are all, right now, actively designing with every choice, every belief, and every action we take. So by choosing love over fear, you're not just changing yourself, you're actively participating in the design of a more connected, a more regenerative, and a more truly harmonious world for every single one of us. So the question is, what future will you choose to create?